Hi, my name's Kelsey, and I'm going to be doing a speech on the Passover, and that is a Jewish holiday. I am going to be reading from Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 1 through 8, and this will be from the New American Standard Version Bible. Observe the month of Abib and celebrate the Passover to the Lord your God, for in the month of Abib the Lord your God brought you out of Egypt by night. You shall sacrifice the Passover to the Lord your God from the flock and the herd, in the place where the Lord chooses to establish his name. You shall not eat leavened bread with it. 7 days you shall eat it with unleavened bread, the bread of affliction, for you came out of the land of Egypt in haste, so that you may remember all of the days of your life when you came out of the land of Egypt. For 7 days no leaven shall be seen with you in all of your territory. None of the flesh which you sacrifice on the evening of the first day shall remain overnight until morning. You are not allowed to sacrifice the Passover in any of your towns to which the Lord your God is giving you. But at the place where the Lord your God chooses to establish his name, you shall sacrifice the Passover in the evening, sunset, and at the time that you came out of Egypt. So, nearly 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to celebrate Passover, and the way I did this was on the first night of Passover. We had a feast called the Seder Feast, and the reason why I'm doing a speech on this is because I'm a Christian and I want to know more about Jewish history and just more about what the traditions are all about. In this speech, we are going to look at Passover. We're going to see how it's celebrated, what's its purpose, what it is specifically, and why the story of Passover is still important to this day. So Passover is estimated to have been in the 5th century BC. William Brown writes in Passover of the Hebrew Bible that it lasts 8 days. And the significance of the Passover story is the freedom that the Israelites had from the Egyptians from slavery. They were in slavery for hundreds of years and they escaped slavery. It's typically celebrated in early spring on the 14th day of the Jewish lunar month, and that's the first month. In the history of Passover, written by Gray, she writes how there are directions in the Torah, and that is the first few books of the Bible, on how to celebrate Passover. So the main way that Passover is celebrated is the Seder Feast, and that, like I said before, is on the first night of Passover. Gray continues in her article to explain that the feast has singing in Hebrew, worship included in that, talk about current events and issues, and remembrance of the Passover story. So in the feast, there is a lot of different types of food, and each of these foods have a symbolic meaning, so I'm going to go over a few of the foods that are included in the feast. So you eat bitter herbs, and that is to show how bitter slavery was for the Israelites. And harazat is an apple, nut, and wine mixture, and that is to represent the Jewish motar. Egg is also eaten, and that's the cycle of life. Like I mentioned before, there's no bread with leaven, and leaven is what makes bread rise. So the Jewish people eat masto, and that is flat bread due to the lack of leaven. My final point is on the importance of the story. It retells the freedom from Egypt, and it holds importance to the Jewish people in many ways. Kravitz, in her article, What is the Meaning of Passover and What to Know About the Holy Jewish Holiday, puts it this way. It reflects their oppression, the yearning for freedom, which has been seen not only in this story, but in the future and the present, and resilience, protection from God, and how Israel is their homeland, given by God. So, in conclusion, we went over what Passover was, why it's celebrated, and why the story of it is so important. And today, the Passover still has meaning, thousands of years later. Thank you.